It's Andre from the High Performance Academy, and I'm here with Jeff Cuttajar, who's tuning Dom Lupino's Pro Street Mustang that's come all the way from Australia for the Foreign Rotary Nationals. Now this is a car that's pretty unusual over here in New Zealand. It's a V8 twin turbo combo running EFI, and we just wanted to take a chance to talk to Jeff about this combo. So first of all, Jeff, thanks for having a chat to us. This Pro Street sort of class that it's running in, so tell us what that means and what the regulations are for that Pro Street class.
Well, the regulations, to me, I'm new to this. As I told you before, I tune a door slammer, or I co-tune a door slammer. I work full time for Peter Kapiris on his door slammer in Australia. The regulations seem to be they have to have like a standard strut front end, as you see back here. I don't think they have to have a passenger seat. To me, the rules on that, Dom Lupino owns a car, knows more about that.
So basically what we're talking about is a car that's not a full tube frame chassis. It still quite closely resembles a street car that almost looks like something you could drive through your local Macca's drive-through.
So they reckon.
Okay, let's talk about the motivation for this package. So obviously we're talking a V8 engine, but that's about as far as my knowledge of the combo goes. Can you tell us what makes it tick?
Sure I can. It's a 630 cube big block Ford. The engine's from Proline in the US. It has EFI injection. It's controlled by a big stuff controller. It has a V300 logging system also, and it has two big ass turbos on the front.
Big ass is pretty accurate there. Yeah. Now let's just talk about those turbochargers. What are you actually running there for the turbos?
How do you mean, as in?
What model of turbo, if you can let us know?
These are a precision turbo, like 80 mil, and I'm pretty sure that's all the class is limited to, that size. Okay,
so the Pro Street class, you're limited to an 80mm extruder diameter on that compressor wheel?
Yeah, that's right. And look, honestly, it's for us at the moment, it's way enough. The car is the quickest and fastest in its class at the moment, so until such time that we lose that, then we'll look in other areas to improve.
In terms of those ETs and mile an hour, what's your PB in the car, or what's Dom's PB?
Dom's PB is 669 at 219.
It's pretty serious and what still looks like a fairly standard street car from the outside.
Until you get to the back of it and see the twin chutes, I guess, but yeah.
Okay, so in terms of getting that car down the strip, what sort of power is the engine producing and what sort of boost pressure are you using to do that?
Well, I'm guessing that it's probably making anywhere between 2.5 to pushing 3,000. Boost pressure up the top, you'll see around the 32, 34 pound, which is different for me again because we can regulate the boost as it's going down the track. We can't do that with our blown cars, so it is different.
Okay, so that doesn't really sound like you're pushing the boost pressure too high in this particular combination. Is that fair? There's still some power left on the table if you wanted to raise the bar a little bit?
I guess there's something up the sleeve a little, yeah.
Now, because you're tuning a top door slammer for the Kapiris brothers, you're probably in a really good place to give us some comparison between the tuning of a blown car and these new EFI turbocharged packages which we're seeing come through and become more and more popular. Particularly the blown cars, one of the big differences there is the mechanical injection. When it comes to tuning the car, what's your preference there between the mechanical and EFI systems?
Do you know what? I think the injection part of it is on par. Look, the EFI thing's a good thing. The mechanical seems to be maybe a little bit more reliable, which, having said that, I haven't seen too many problems with these injectors. I know a lot of guys have had problems with injectors and that. I think where the real difference is how you can regulate the boost. And with our cars, we have to hit hard early. These are opposite. These soft, and then they ease into it and they make some steam.
In terms of that, you can control the boost pressure basically as the car goes down the track. Now, with the blown car being the superchargers physically driven by the engine, you don't have the ability to regulate that power so easily. Is that correct? That's
exactly right. Like when we call swap feet, like our boost is like bang right there. So we actually have to waste it through our clutch. And timing control, as we do as well. This has an AMS controller which controls boost and regulates the boost, but which is a nice little tool, I might add. Yeah.
Now let's look at the drivetrain in the car. This car is running an automatic transmission. Can you tell us a little bit about that combination?
Look, it has a 3-speed in it, Rosler, and I guess before I come on board, I had a 2-speed, and then the guys in the US said, no, you need to do a 3-speed, and obviously it was to change first gear ratio and give it a bit more ratio, and a second gear ratio, which is different again, and then like a 1-to-1 later on down the track. So I guess that's, as long as you put something in behind it that can handle it, the car will haul ass either way. This car's gone 680 and it's missed a gear, so, you know.
It sounds like it's doing it pretty easy then. One of the things with the automatic transmission, the torque converter, particularly with the smaller capacity engines, it seems like getting that match with the torque converter is really critical. It's make or break. How does that affect it with such a big capacity engine? Is it so important?
Well, it is very important. What you got to remember is torque converter. It puts the torque down the ground like straight away. So we have to, all our other knobs that we can turn, we do them, and that seems to be doing its thing like later on down the track. There's not much slip at all in this deal, so they've got that down pat. So it's up to us to tune all the...
Just moving back to the tuning for a second, and that again comparison between the mechanical and EFI. Do you find that in terms of the ignition timing you're using and the amount of fuel you're pouring into the engine, there's a difference, or are you still aiming for the same numbers?
Oh, it's way different on the turbo thing. You know, when I first come into this and I had a look at it, I talked with Steve Petty. I couldn't believe the temperature of the EGTs, which is the exhaust gas temperatures, and I'm like, wow. He goes, oh no, that's nothing. He said they run way hotter. So yeah, it's different, and the fuel numbers are different, but you're achieving them. You're doing the same thing, mechanical or electronic. It is the same thing.
Is running methanol fuel on this particular car?
Yeah, running methanol. It has a 44 amp magneto like we run on our race car. So it's a serious deal. Yeah.
Hey, look, Jeff, that's been really interesting. Thanks for showing us over the car. Really appreciate it.
No problem, man. Thanks.
For online tuning courses, visit learntotune.com.